So Marvel Studios' The Thunderbolts has now officially hit theatres, and it's been in theatres now for around about a week. So what I wanted to do in this video was not do necessarily a review per se. That video is potentially coming up in the next few days. But I wanted to talk about what everyone has been talking about from the Thunderbolts, and that is the post-credit scene and what that post-credit scene means for our upcoming Avengers Doomsday. So that of course means full spoilers ahead for the Thunderbolts. If you have not seen the movie yet, make sure you go and watch that movie before you come and see this video. It's going to be full spoilers, going to be talking about everything that was revealed in that post-credit scene. You have been warned. So just to kick off, I will give you my quick thoughts on Thunderbolts before I go into the post-credit scene. I loved it. Absolutely loved Thunderbolts. I thought it was an incredible movie that I was completely in love with basically from moment one. Now, I have been championing this movie since it was announced. I will toot my own horn in that regard. Like when Thunderbolts was first announced back in 2022 and we got that team lineup, I just thought it looked great. Like as an MCU interpretation of the Thunderbolts, I was like, this is really cool. And each trailer that came out, it just looked better and better and better. And after having seen the full film, it completely paid off. I loved it. I thought the team dynamic is one of the best team dynamics we have in the MCU. Like, this is rivaling the Guardians of the Galaxy. Like, they are that good. It really made me love each and every one of the Thunderbolt characters, which a couple of them I wasn't as connected with previously. Like, Ghost, for example, was a character that I didn't necessarily love coming out of Ant-Man and the Wasp, but I was excited that she was going to be a part of the movie, and I really ended up loving her. And then characters that I did already love, like Yelena, and even in his own way, John Walker, I loved even more because we got even more depth for them. I just thought the Thunderbolts was incredibly well done. It's one of the best Marvel movies we've had in years, certainly one of the best since Endgame. Like, believe the hype. It is that good. But moving on to talk about that post-credit scene at the very, very end of the movie, this was a big one. And I was interested going into it because I didn't know what the post-credit scene was going into it. I hadn't had it spoiled for me. But I had heard that it was big and it had big implications for the universe going forward. And I was looking forward to that because we've not had that from Marvel in a little while. You know, that kind of huge post-credit scene that gets people excited. And lo and behold, we got it. Not only was it revealed that the Thunderbolts are now operating as the New Avengers, which obviously that title, the New Avengers, is revealed obviously right at the end of the movie before the post-credit scene. But in the post-credit scene, we see them operating out of the old Avengers Tower as the New Avengers. But we also see there is someone coming in from space, and that is, of course, the Fantastic Four. Now, I'm not going to focus too much on the Fantastic Four in this video, because I think that's pretty cut and dry. You know, it was kind of like, oh, the Fantastic Four are coming to Earth. We knew that was going to happen. And I will say, though, as a little side note, I think this is what Marvel need to do more frequently now, which is something they used to do, and that is, when it comes to the post-credit scenes, just tease the next movie. Like, don't set up these huge concepts or these big ideas or these characters that you may or may not get to in a few years. Just focus on teasing the next movie that's coming out in a couple of months or a few months' time, because then you can build the hype for it. And that's exactly what Thunderbolts did. It was a great movie that people are loving, people are excited about, but then at the very end, they tease the Fantastic Four, which is the next film coming out in July, and that can then ride that hype train all the way to July. It was just really well done. But yes, we have the New Avengers. So of course the Thunderbolts always had the asterisk at the end of the title, which we all knew was going to stand for something, and it was revealed to be the New Avengers. And I think it's really fun, the fact that Marvel are kind of using this as a promotional tactic. You know, they are going around like officially changing the title to the New Avengers. You know, if you look at posters for the movie now, it says the New Avengers, it doesn't say Thunderbolts, which is weird. Like, I feel like they've done this a bit too quickly. Like, I feel like they have kind of spoiled that, given the fact it's like the big reveal at the end of the movie. They have kind of spoiled that. But if their tactic is to kind of get more bums in seats, then I guess it will work for them. And seeing these characters, you know, these Thunderbolt characters now operating as the New Avengers outside of the old Stark Tower is weird. Like, it's weird to see, especially because, you know, Stark Tower, we haven't seen that properly in a long time. It's been a big mystery in the MCU for years at this point, who bought Stark Tower. Now we know it was Val, and she's now using it as the base of operations, you know, the Watchtower, for the New Avengers and this team. I must say, like, as I said in my little review for Thunderbolts, I love this team. Absolutely love this team. So seeing them assembled as the New Avengers lineup is really awesome. You've got Yelena, who's basically acting as the leader at this point, And then you've also got the other characters who are operating alongside her. Of course, you've got Ghost, you've got Winter Soldier, you've got Red Guardian, and you've got John Walker. And I think this is such a fun lineup that I can't wait to see more of in Avengers Doomsday. We also, of course, do have Bob as well, with the Sentry, which I didn't actually amazingly talk about the Sentry in my review, but I loved Lewis Pullman as Bob. Great character. But we see him in the Watchtower as well, and he's not actually using his powers, and I think this is going to be one of two things. I think this is either going to be that Bob is going to get taken out like that straight away in Avengers Doomsday to basically show the power and the strength of Robert Downey Jr.'s Doom, or they're going to save him till right at the very end, and he's going to kind of be an ace in the hole in the movie, and he's going to come in as like the big weapon to take Doom out at the very, very end, or at least, you know, be that big final action scene. He's going to be like the big weapon at the end of it. Kind of similar to what they did with Thor in Avengers Infinity War, where he came in right at the very, very end to, you know, bring the pain, right? I think Lewis Pullman's Sentry could potentially be that character, or as mentioned, he's going to be kind of like what the Hulk was in Infinity War, where he's kind of used to show the power of the villain. It's going to be one of those two things. But I feel like, you know, Lewis Pullman, he's so great as Sentry, and I think that his performance, he's gonna be a really fun character to have amongst these other big Avengers characters. We also get a look at their new logo, which is really fun. I think the new logo looks really cool. It's this, you know, dark kind of black background Avengers logo with the red outline. It's different, very different and unique to what we'd seen from previous Avengers logos, but it fits this team, you know, it fits the Thunderbolts, it fits the new Avengers, and it makes them stand out from like the previous iterations of the team we've had in the Infinity Saga. And all the characters have new suits as well in this post-credit scene, which is really nice because it does actually give us our first official look at these characters in Avengers Doomsday. If you don't know, this post-credit scene was actually filmed and shot on the set of Doomsday by the Russos. So this wasn't actually directed by Jake Schreier, who directed the Thunderbolts. This was actually directed by the Russos, and it was done on the set of Doomsday. So this is how these characters are going to look in Doomsday. So this is kind of, in a way, our first official look at Avengers Doomsday, kind of. And these new suits, they do not disappoint. I must say, in particular, Bucky's suit, oh, it's incredible. I absolutely look like Bucky's look in this movie in general was fantastic, but this suit, his like Avengers suit, oh, it's sexy, boy. It's sexy. I'm not going to put any pictures up just because I don't want to get any copyright problems, because like I said, all those images that are floating around on the internet are leaked right now, so I don't want to put them in the video, but oh, I love Bucky's suit so much. I also thought John Walker's suit was quite funny, like given the fact that he's still using like the bent shield from the movie, which I thought was quite funny, and he's also wearing like a beret, which I think is an interesting choice. And Yelena looks incredible. Ghost's suit looks really good. We didn't get a look at Red Guardian's new suit. He's obviously wearing like the tracksuit thing, but I just think this new team lineup with these logos and these suits, I see the vision, and I love the vision. I'm respecting it. I'm here for it. And I really hope that in a way this team does stick around inside of Doomsday outside of like the first 5 minutes. But not everybody is happy with this new Avengers lineup, and I'm talking about in-universe because Sam Wilson, Captain America himself, is not happy about this. There is a line in this post-credit scene where they talk about how Sam is not happy with this new Avengers lineup. You know, he's in the previous movie to this, Captain America Brave New World, he spoke about how he wants to reform the Avengers and he's going to try and do that. And now we have this new Avengers team separate to him that he has nothing to do with. And he's not happy about it. You know, Bucky says he tried to talk him out with it, and it seems like they're basically not on speaking terms, which is kind of sad, really, because Bucky and Sam have such a great dynamic in the MCU. You know, Bucky's cameo in the Captain America movie was really fun. I think that their, you know, banter and their kind of love-hate relationship is a really strong one in the MCU. So the fact that they perhaps are not going to be on speaking terms by the time we get to Doomsday does upset me. But Sam has gone so far as to copyright the Avengers name, which I think is funny. As like a little in-universe thing, you know, Sam is protecting the Avengers, which is very much something he would do. You know, I think that's very much in line with his character, to be fair. You know, he kind of feels like as the new Captain America, his responsibility is to protect the Avengers and their name. So he's copyrighted the name of the Avengers and has just gone off to, I guess, create his own team. And I think that's quite funny in contrast with, you know, the new Avengers that we're going to be dealing with from this movie. I just think it's quite interesting, the fact that you've got Sam going around basically being like, okay, you're not going to back down, fine, let's play dirty. And I think that's quite a funny thing to do in universe. But yeah, Sam's not happy about it, so I guess in Doomsday we're going to have this conflict between Sam as Captain America and these new Avengers characters about, you know, what it actually means to be an Avenger, who is an Avenger, and in the end, it's probably all going to come together, I'm sure. I think what we're building to at this point is we're going to have two teams of Avengers immediately in Avengers Doomsday. We're going to have the new Avengers, which is, of course, our Thunderbolts, but then we're also going to have Sam's Avengers, like the official Avengers, with, you know, their Captain America leading the team. And the reason I say that is because, of course, we do have the new Avengers now established. We've got the Thunderbolts. You know, you've got Yelena, Bucky, Alexei, you've got Ghost, you've got Bob. You've got this team of Avengers who are now established, being ran by Val, running out of the Watchtower, who, for all intents and purposes in the public perception, they are the Avengers now. But you have got on the other side, you've got Sam Wilson as Captain America, who is now going to be building his own Avengers team. And I think what we're going to see is, at the beginning of Doomsday, we're going to have both of these teams of Avengers kind of on opposite ends of each other. You know, they're not going to like each other, they don't really want to, you know, work with one another. But then once the threat of Doomsday actually happens and we have, you know, Doom come to Earth or whatever the threat may end up being, these two teams of Avengers are going to end up working together for the greater good alongside the Fantastic Four, and also I'm guessing probably the X-Men characters we have in the movie. So that's really cool. But who is going to be Sam's Avengers? This is a question that I think a lot of us are going to be asking. You know, if we've got this new Avengers team, who is going to be with Sam on his team? And I think when you look at the cast list of Avengers Doomsday for what we have so far, you know, from the chair reveal and everything, I think there's a few characters you can point out from that you can basically guarantee are going to be a part of this movie. And for me, I'm looking at characters like Thor, Shang-Chi, Ant-Man, Black Panther. I think, you know, those big characters there that we know are going to be a part of the movie, I think we can look at them and go, they are the sort of characters that Sam would recruit. Because not only has he already got a history with characters like Thor and Ant-Man, especially Ant-Man in particular, he has a particularly close relationship with, so it makes sense he would turn to them. But we also have a couple of newer characters who, you know, fans have wanted on the Avengers lineup since they were introduced, like Shang-Chi and also Black Panther, you know, Letitia Wright's Black Panther. So I think what we're looking at is we're going to have two teams of Avengers going up, opposing one another at the beginning of Doomsday, and then they will all come together to fight the threat once they've all, you know, settled with each other. But that's my thoughts on the post-credit scene of Thunderbolts, or the new Avengers. Make sure you let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Where do you think this movie is going to lead into Doomsday? You know, how do you think this post-credit scene is going to lead into this next Avengers film? And what do you think Sam's team of Avengers is going to be? Whatever you think, whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comment section down below. And if you want to see more content like this, more Thunderbolts coverage, make sure you subscribe, hit that notification bell so you don't miss any uploads from me. And I hope to see you guys again next time.